It's another edition of the Party Poker Live Big Game, and this time it's coming to you from the King's Casino Razvedov on the German-Czech border. We're halfway in, and the game has switched to No Limit Holdem. The Omaha leg concluded having provided no fewer than 7 six-figure pots. Sam Trickett on the wrong end of a couple of those and ended Omaha down 131,000 euros. Ouch! But he's back for the No Limit Holdem action, and before play started, Marianella caught up with him.
All right, Sam, I know you're stuck about 200K. Did you get any sleep?
Yeah, I got some spotty sleep. I slept for like 5 hours, woke up for the game, and then went back to sleep for 2 hours. Now the game's on again, so yeah, I'm semi-prepared.
Well, now the game of choice is No Limit, so I feel like if there's ever a time right now for you to really throw some fire.
Well, yeah, I got a chance to get it back, which is always a good sign. I'm guessing PLO is just a little bit like more difficult when you're playing against 6 people because lots more cards out there and less bluff opportunities, and Holdem's obviously better for that because it's easy to get bluffs through and creates actually a better game. So I'm pretty excited about the game, and I haven't given up yet, so I'll come back fighting and hopefully, get some money back.
Yeah, like you said, it's pretty hard to bluff on a 4-way pot,
Yeah, exactly. 16 cards out there. It's like odds on someone's got something, and it didn't stop me trying anyway. I'd still had to go anyway, but it just should be a little bit easier today and hopefully make some hands, get some good situations, and get some money back, yeah.
Well, I love your attitude. Always positive, always cheerful, and wishing you the best, Sam.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thanks, Sam.
Now just about 2 hours into the No Limit leg of the big game, and Sam's down again, but nothing too serious yet. Nothing he can't recover from. There's still a fair few hours to play yet, people. Otherwise, Steffen Sontheimer has impressed in these early stages, and of course Leon Sukernik, who had a good night last night in the Omaha, is once again bossing the action here in his very own casino. Like he owns the place or something. I mean, really.
Fantastic set here at King's Casino in Rozvadov. You are watching Party Poker Live Big Cash Game. Jesse May is your lead commentator, and I'm trying to make some sense of what's going on.
It is a beautiful set, Simon, and one of the first permanent TV sets built in a poker room, as far as I'm aware.
No.
No?
we built one at Dusk right at the beginning.
So it's pretty much the
Purpose-built
second,
TV
right,
set.
in the Trickett room.
It's probably the first one.
Right.
It's the first one in Europe, I would imagine. Mr. T raises to 3,700. Steffen with 3-7. Will he be seduced by the fact that he has 3-7?
Wow, he's raised it from this spot.
And he is. It's like a psychological thing, isn't it? He's bet 3-7 and I've got 3-7. I'm going to call.
I have. That is. Steffen is sucking wind here.
7,900.
I love when these two play a pot because you always have the chance of some real trickery going on.
Trickery.
Well, they can go 4 levels deep.
Steffen going to peel here, Steffen.
Steffen goes 5 levels wide for breakfast. He's thinking, so I'm thinking, but he knows I'm thinking, he's thinking.
Yeah.
There he goes, 7-3 of hearts. Show him what you can do. I feel a check.
No chance. 17-9 in the middle. He's not going to be worried about 4-5, that's for sure.
And by the way, the reason I knew Sam was going to check is because I was 100% to bet.
Hold on a minute, it's 25-9. I'm going at 9. I've had enough of this. Oh, no.
No,
he put the check in on the turn, and Steffen has rivered 2 pair.
Poor Sam. Poor Sam.
I just hate this game sometimes.
I'd love to actually know from Sam why he decided to check the turn. It's...
Yeah, right, like you're going to fold.
Well, he can't fold. So obviously the question is, can he raise?
You watch Sam's face when he does call.
I knew it, says Sam Trickett. I knew you had the 7-3.
It's crazy.
And for those of you who think that poker is an easy game,
I couldn't possibly lose after he sized.
I was.
After he checks the turn and sized.
I just
her off.
expected the 10K. Now you.
I thought I could not possibly lose.
that is the ultimate needle. He checked the turn and then side. He's right. He's right. Sontheimer, you dirt.
Cautious player, Sam. Cautious player.
No, I'm not saying you had the decision. I don't argue that, but when you check back the turn and then.
I mean, no way I'm folding with like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh dear me.
Right, so for those of you who look at a guy like Steffen or Sam Trickett and say, what a life these guys have, it must be great. Let me tell you something. Pain and pleasure are dealt in equal amounts. And Trickett right now is going through the ringer. I guess he's down about 300K now since yesterday.
And,
Talking about Christoph Vogel's song.
Cards, please, box. Thank you. Or pass? What's here?
I wanted to play with Liam.
5 pass.
I'm 200.
Couple of 4 bets.
Yeah, I want to do Christoph against Christoph, but they
Well, let's do it.
next time.
How much is this a fold
How's the tournament going?
or a peel?
2 tables still?
Oh. Heads up.
Can't read very well upside down, but is Ankin wearing his pants on his
Just
head?
Steffen. I think. Dom bust, correct bust.
Check.
No good run so far. Just Steffen running pure.
How much he ended up? He didn't.
He got 4th. Yeah, he lost like. He was chip leading and then he lost 4 all-ins in a row. Like, super sick flip against Renato.
Yesterday?
It does take a little time, Ashcan, when he's got a hand to
Before
make a decision.
tried to
But
bust
I
towards text, didn't
believe
work
that
out.
in this particular spot, Simon, he's going to
Yeah, it was very tilted.
basically
based on
empty
me.
Ankin out.
Yeah, you were like second
Yesterday?
to the bubble or something.
Yeah, I was like chip lead with like 13 left, and I
You lost
went
to
out.
Patrick or who did you
Yeah, I
give?
lost big hand to Patrick. It was like tournament pot.
Renato busted? No.
Renato busted.
Yeah.
What he had?
Top pair under.
Ankin's got
Against top
40,
pair.
so Ashcan's only got 23,000 back.
To check.
I mean, feels kind of like bet 10 here, bet 13 on the river, bet 7 here, bet 16 on the river. Either way, he's going to get the money in.
11 left.
He could even decide that the guy's on a draw and go all in, couldn't he? Or is that a
Not
little bit
even,
too
no.
much for you?
no, he could do
Treffer
that.
König. Anderer König. König besser Kicker.
Und die ganzen Fans mit mir.
Bitte.
Gone for the 10 now, 13 later. I don't see Ankin getting out of this at all. I mean, is he at the stage now where he can only beat a bluff? King's still got a lot of value,
Yeah,
right?
chips he's got left.
You can think about it all you want, Ankin, but laying down top pair this game.
How much is this now? 13?
Could you fold this here? Could you fold it? It's tough, right? It is tough.
20.
Ja, 2 Flips gewonnen und dann die Jacks gegen S10. Ich habe bitte gerade noch die Nachricht gekriegt, dass er mich auf dem, wo er 3000 Open Race bei Big Blind 200, dass er mit kompletter Luft am Ende die 18 Kilo reinknallt auf dem 5 Karo Board.
Showdown, please.
Ich habe E-Board gespielt trotzdem.
Cards, please.
He was getting like 5-to-1 odds on that pot with top pair, top kicker.
Okay, when you want.
Ankin says okay. You took so long.
Okay.
How many times?
Okay.
I think they should just run it until Ankin gets a jack. Well, what they do, and this is common, right, in Simon, in high-stakes cash games, depending on if the players, want to do it or not. both players have to agree, but they will, if they run it 3 times, for example, the pot gets divided into 3. And then they put out the river card 3 times, once for each pot. So the idea is that it reduces variance. Now whether or not that's a good thing or not is an entirely different subject. But so in that case, they did 3 rivers. The plot was split into 3. And because Ashkan won all 3 times, he gets the whole pot. If Jack had come up at the end there, Ankin would have gotten 1/3 of the pot.
Last time.
And Ashkan would have gotten 2/3 of the pot.
Did the button move?
Welcome back to the big game, Germany. Party Poker Live, King's Casino. Leon Sukernick sitting back down, and
after flop, you see king.
Could be days before he gets up again.
Nobody bets, then it's just check.
He is a guy who has provided so much character to this poker world since he announced his presence. Has Ankin? Did Ankin pick up the aces in a straddle? No. And Ankin, that's why you got to straddle. If you had straddled for 1,600 with the aces.
Got it.
Second time he's done this where...
You.
I mean, I'm not being funny, against this style of play... Well, okay, so Rob's not at the table. I am limping in that position.
No one is here.
3 and 4 fall.
Come
Yeah,
back, Rob.
I hear that.
I'm
I hear
confused.
that.
3,000. 5 call.
There you're looking at Steffen Sontheimer, who is probably, well, along with Sam Trickett there, the most accomplished pro at the table. We've seen some good plays so far. As far as who's waiting to get in this game, Isildur, Dominic Nietzsche, Christoph Vogelsang, and the like of the Wizards, who would love to be sitting here.
6-2 bet, 4,500.
He's bet 4.5. He's only got 10 behind. Leon's got 100,000 in front of him. There you go. Exactly what I expected.
It is. All.
Quick call for Mencken.
Stream here.
No dwelling for Mencken. None of this like, well, yeah, I suppose I might call.
Oops.
Yep.
Leon, King Jack of clubs and 5 diamonds.
Deal our fickle fate did friends.
One time.
I mean, from a game flow point of view, interesting to see if Ankin's going to rebuy if he does lose this and gets the aces cracked.
Okay.
Not this time.
But I think he'll just double up instead. And there you go. First he loses to the aces, then he cracks, then he wins with them. Easy peasy.
400.
Sorry, Jesse, Trickett's pulled up, look. Looks like he's pulled up another 50,000. Those of you that have only just joined, the whites are 100. The purples are 500, the yellows are 1,000, and the greens are, they are green, aren't they?
They are green.
5,000.
5,000, so Trickett now in for over 100 here, and
you didn't want to play big.
maybe verging on 350,000 since last night.
Oh,
Yes.
Rob's back.
3 4.
If you want to know where Sam got that 50,000 that he disappeared and came back with, it's much where does the hobo go when it snows?
So for about 25 hands, we didn't see Ashkan play anything. Then he found ace king, won a big pot against Ankin, cornering him with king jack. Finally, Tomer, after about 35 hands, has found ace king.
I'm happy that you're happy.
And Sam is going to look him up with his queen 10.
I'm really happy.
Yeah, and what you just said obviously has not escaped Sam, even though he has been missing from the table. Maybe it has escaped him. Tomer's been tight of late. And he is a tricky player because I'm sure, well, I'm not sure. I'm guessing he checked back to raise here. What do you think? No?
No, just calls.
Pre-flop. Scared.
3,500.
But it's
How about a little ace on the river?
Pre-flop, yeah. 3,500
Nope.
last time.
Sam's. Oh dear, Sam.
Too early position.
10,000.
I still think he's raising.
He always has it. Suited.
Nothing's working for Sam today.
I like suited.
Took a stab on the turn. Fired another bullet on the river. And it's not your day. It's not your day, is it? We've all
It's
been there.
not his day so far.
Aces, is king. Is king.
I mean, basically, Tomer 3-bet or raised with the ace-king, flop top pair, and never put a bet in.
On the board with the 5
I
diamonds.
put 8,000, yeah.
18.
18,000.
But who's
Was
counting?
good, no?
That was very good.
C3 fold.
Ashcan with a mighty 7-3, but he folds it.
The mighty. How the mighty have fallen.
Tomer from ace-king to 4s. We saw Sontheimer win a nice pot against Leon with 4s earlier on.
Ace king there.
What?
No bet ace king
Flop
there.
came 3, 5, 6, 4 on the turn.
Feel like.
No? I'm glad you didn't.
I thought I would see betting.
Yeah.
I was so happy with the flop. Looking for a spot to get it.
Yeah. Backwards, I should have.
Yeah, yeah.
Rob's only just got back to the table,
Never
makes
can
it
know
3,000 with his queen 5 of diamonds. Ankin folds 10 jack, give that to Leon.
Right, not only did he make it 3,000, he 3-bet Tomer here, and
My hand won't improve.
I told you that's 5-5.
Yeah.
4s against queen 5. And top pair for Rob.
Fortune.
I'm guessing Tomer is going to take one off here.
5,000.
Because if he doesn't, you know,
4 fold.
okay. Okay. Okay, indeed. A little pot pickup for Rob there, but he's still nearly 100,000 in the hole, and compatriot Sam Trickett also struggling so far. And it's all proven a bit much for Simon Trumper in the comms box. Time then for some new blood in the seat next to me.
4 call.
Philipp. He's out of his call.
No, it's call. 5 fold.
I am thrilled to welcome a man of the stature right now. He is currently the 5,222nd ranked poker player in the world. We have dug deep, we have gone big to get a man who has this much poker skill and talent. It's James Dempsey.
I thought we had a deal.
I'm joking, of course. James Dempsey is he's not as much on the tournament scene anymore, but he's won his $1 million WPT and his WSOP bracelet and torched up the online wizards for a couple million. He's kind of knows what he's doing. But what is your you've been in bed for the last 24 hours, James, so I mean what do you know about what's going on?
I have not seen more than a couple of hands in the first 3 hours of this game, to confess.
What do you make of this lineup as compared to last night? It's a lot of unfamiliar faces.
Yeah, I don't know many of the players, but obviously I haven't seen how anyone's been playing. It looks like we've got a fair few pros in the game, though, does it not?
Yeah, well, Sam Trickett and Steffen, a tale of two pros. One of them is buried and one of them is crushing.
I'm guessing, given that Trickett keeps coming out to the bar, where I've been sat for the last 3 hours, that he's the one who's losing.
You are right. It's hard to put one past you.
I've had a nice relaxing break from last night's finish.
4.5.
These 36-hour cash games are great.
Brady.
8 fold.
Queens.
So that's Doha. We've had some good action, but I think to this point, and if you're just joining us, kind of a quick recap, the first 3 hours of this game are about getting more money on the table. There's only about 150,000 when we started. We're now up to about, I think there's about 400K on the table.
Yeah.
Nothing's been taken off the table yet.
It'd be fun. I'm interested to see Steffen play. Sontheimer, obviously win the Poker Masters
So
a few months ago.
Right, that was out in Vegas, right? We were
Yeah.
talking, and that's kind of where he sort of got a bit of a public reputation for the way he handled Phil Hellmuth.
All right, okay. I just saw clips and I saw the results. Obviously, he did phenomenally well out there.
He beat everybody.
Yeah. I hadn't come across him before that, so it was very impressive because those were really tough tournaments.
Yeah, well, I think I said when we started that if you're looking to figure out exactly who Steffen is, he's the German who's cashed for over 10 million. So, you know.
One of the 11.
Yes, narrows it. narrows it.
We can have a table of all of them in here. I don't think there'd be a very big list for the game.
Well,
all right, so straddle to 8 as advertised.
I could be dominated, but
okay, Sam's in here with the 8-4. I like it. Maybe this is a game then. I'm guessing who are the big winners and losers so far?
I'm trying to figure out at what point Sam made the move with the 8-4, and it was just a call. It was a call. Well, he's in position. Let's give him that.
And there's a 4. Okay,
rocked
4 in spades. Okay, Rob's gone open as straight draw. Leon pair. Well, Tom has got blockers to Rob's straight draw.
Let's all agree that once you're stuck 350,000, you're entitled.
Is that's well? Yeah, I was going to ask who's winning and losing so far in today's game.
So he's stuck about 100, I think, Sam, today, and he's claimed to have lost $250,000 yesterday. So,
ouch.
Which I didn't see. I mean, I knew he was losing, but I think he was buying in on the slide.
He might have been buying the slide. Maybe they may have played some of the games yesterday. I'm not sure. Okay, so Sam will be raising it up here.
And to narrow the field, I mean, is there any reason why actually you'd kind of want the field in here if you think you're up against one guy who's got a lot of equity against you? You still have all that equity against the field.
You could make the argument if you had maybe ace-4 of spades, maybe let someone else in with the worst flush or things. But with 8-4, it's just not as strong. And especially when you've got someone like Leon who bets out a lot of hands, and Rob's just called, so not showing a lot of strength. He can pick this up. It's very different when Rob's called in between. It makes it a much better spot for Sam to be raising.
why is he scared?
You're the one that's scared, not me. I'm the man putting the money in. There's nothing scary about it.
Should be great.
Firing.
Should be great.
I'm down 300. We've got to try and get the money in the middle.
Not easy job, Sam. Not easy job.
What should Rob be thinking right now?
Whatever it is, he just has to fold. I mean, he might think it's a bit suspicious that Sam throws so big like this. Maybe he's got a draw or something, but Rob's got 5 high. He's got the worst possible hand you can have right now.
And you're saying he's never really getting the price to draw. I mean, he would be worried that he only has 6 outs as we kind of, well, he's got the 5s, but I mean, the spades aren't clean outs. If it comes an ace of spades, he kind of goes broke here, doesn't he?
Yeah, and with Sam only having 50k back as well, it's not like he can. It was different if they were a lot deeper. He could call the 23k and knowing that maybe if Sam had a set or something, he could bust him, for a really big pot.
And would you say that is as much to potentially get Rob to fold a hand that beats him? I mean, how often is this a ranky 10?
Well, that's what Sam's thinking. Maybe I can fold and make it for 10. Maybe Rob has a, Queen Jack of Spades or something that can make him fold that. Hands he doesn't want him to realize his equity with.
47,900.
How much in the middle, Sam?
You can't. What are we putting on the flop? I'm just glad you didn't snap call. That was all. Very kind of you.
I was willing to put it on the flop, so I said, as long as the spade didn't come.
Interesting flop.
What do you have?
5 deuce. I don't think my pair's live.
Five deuce.
If you haven't got an ace, like 8 cards to hit, 6 to 1.
You know these guys well. What do you think?
Well, I mean, you just never know, Rob. You might just want to punt.
So I think I've got to go with it.
Wow, he has. I mean, obviously, you shouldn't call, but.
You're joking. I fold 5.
I was waiting.
5-4.
I was waiting.
Five is not good. He has 8 6.
I was waiting to put it on the flop, so it's fair enough.
8-4.
One time.
I fold 5-4.
Sam got called.
Fair.
8-4.
He has nothing, and he's 82%.
What a great value bet.
Okay.
If it's the 5 of diamonds, guys.
Oh my word.
Wow.
Oh
I
my
fold 5-4. I would have win.
Oh my
Crazy.
5 fucking deuce, huh?
Guys, turn away out of
Rosendorf
respect.
River hates me.
Out of respect, everyone turn away for a
You
minute
got
of
all in return.
silence.
Wow.
Czech called it off first week.
Spade.
The 5 as well.
Don't say.
The 5 just for the
I
needle.
had 5-4. I fold 5-4.
You fold 5-4 too.
Yeah.
Don't say your buddy doesn't gamble with you anyway.
So we didn't have big cards, all of us, you know.
That's a beautiful needle.
I'm going to the bar. Like, I've resisted not drinking this whole time.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I just told him when he said like I have 8 outs.
I'll be back.
I told him the 5 might be good.
I like to think that
That's 5-4. Can you imagine?
Sam,
but not anymore.
Sam, don't drink.
I'm gone.
You said you weren't drinking this trip. Don't do it.
I said I wasn't drinking.
Excuse me. Leon, no alcohol.
There
No alcohol.
goes.
Excuse me.
Nah,
There goes one of the top no-limit Holdem players in the world, James.
right here.
Just beaten.
You stop
You're gonna hear
the
him, mate. Just a
ball.
beaten man.
Okay, don't drink.
Welcome back to the game of pleasure and pain. No Limit Holdem, the Party Poker Live big game. Jesse May alongside James Dempsey. And James, I mean, I guess a couple of questions. What is going to happen next for Sam Trickett? You were chatting with him a little bit at the break.
Yeah, we had a quick chat at the break. He's still pretty much in the same mental state he was when he left the table.
Shock.
Just can't really work out what's happening to him. But no, he said he's going to come back shortly.
And in some ways, it's the most important part of the game when you're a professional player is how you deal with the ridiculousness of losing in a ridiculous fashion.
Yeah, well, he was saying on the break there, if it came an ace or a 6, he could kind of make peace with the hand because it was an offsuit 5. Like a little kick to the teeth. Interesting hand here. Steffen opening up over the straddle with ace-jack of clubs, short-handed. Ankan flatting king-jack off, and Ashkan finding ace-king off in the big, so sure to put the squeeze on here.
How much do you play total?
Is it a good size re-raise?
Right, thank you.
Yeah, I like it. I think
It's 5.5.
anytime you're 3-betting out the blinds, it will make it bigger. And so he's sort of gone for 5.5 times the open. But there's a caller in between, so maybe his standard would be 4 to 4.5. Adds another one for the limper. It's good sizing. Obviously, Steffen with position and ace-jack suited. It's a good hand to call the 3-bet with.
Right, and you know, the trickery is if an ace comes on the flop, you have to play it very carefully. But I think Steffen's, like he's here, he's just flopped the nut flush
But yeah.
draw. But
Position in these spots is so crucial in 3-bet pots, especially when they're this deep. And it's just awkward for Ashkan now.
So if you're Steffen and you think, okay, Ashkan is, I'm putting him on something like ace-king, a better ace than me, or a high pair. If I can get him off, how do I get him off the better aces? Do I really just barrel this? Or do I assume that it's going to be tough to get him off the big hands, so I just slow it down?
On a board like 9-7-5 with 2 clubs, Ashkan's not really going to continue with many better aces. There's so many hands Steffen can have that bet this flop. He's got the king of clubs in his hand, so that's going to persuade him maybe more towards calling. Gives him some. Obviously, we know that's useless to him, but with the backdoor flush draw, allows him to play some more turn cards. Obviously, that's a terrible card for him.
It is, and how important is it for Steffen to barrel against the range that Ashkan can have right now?
That's exactly it. What hands does Ashkan 3-bet squeeze with out of the blinds and then check call that flop with? That's what Steffen's got to work out here. Obviously, I'm late to the game myself, haven't seen exactly the kind of hands these guys are showing down in these 3-bet squeeze spots, but if he assumes Ashkan only is not bluffing pre-flop, has premium hands, then this is a must bet, because Ashkan can't really ever continue. Maybe if Ashkan had 10s, it's kind of like the
Right, but he probably would have led the flop, or maybe not always.
But sometimes he'll check call, but there's very few hands Ashkan can continue with the way this hand's been played.
I mean, you're kind of making a big argument, I think, overall, that if you are going to be 3-betting in this kind of game out of the blinds, you better have a bit of a balanced range, or else you're going to get robbed by guys like Steffen.
For sure, especially on a flop like that. Flop that suits the caller way more than a 3-bet. You really have to have a balanced range. I mean, some guys might go so far as to never bet that flop. Right. They might bet every hand they play into that range. I wouldn't be able to advocate and tell you what exactly is perfect, because, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's laid it down, has he? Yeah. There we go. Fairly understandable.
Interesting hand.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the interesting thing for me about it is if there wasn't a flush draw out there, what's the idea about whether Steffen would have played the hand the same way?
I'd imagine Steffen would have played the hand the same way, especially with that turn card.
Not really.
He might not have bet the flop if he didn't have the flush draw. He might have checked back.
I have good chances to have the best hand on the river.
Yeah, he might have chosen to play that hand as a check back on the flop and then maybe bluff on later streets, as opposed to having the flush draw on the flop.
Didn't have history. Does the game seem a little tame without Leon and Rob?
Yeah, you need Leon and Rob getting back in here, and then I'm sure not long after they sit down, Mr. Trickett might just return.
6, 7 raise, 500.
Raised to 5. Doe has been a little quiet, looking for something to play, I think.
Yeah, this is a nice hand to 3-bet with.
How much you?
30
something total. Okay.
And can chasing some losses.
Okay.
I would say holding on like he's at the top of a roller coaster.
Yeah, I can't advocate calling there on that stack. Steffen obviously played this as a call. It's a fine hand to take 3-way.
How often do you think he knows how often he's in just ridiculously good shape here?
Seems that way. And everybody misses.
This is a must bet. Well, for me, it was a must bet. What do you?
It's one of those. You've got Ankin cold calling behind. Steffen obviously has something. Well, that's an interesting turn. If I don't think he'd bet there with absolutely no equity. Queen 5-3. He has no chance of winning that pot at showdown.
Right.
You know, I mean, he has no chance of improving to. As it happens, he has. But if it's to be called, I don't mind him checking that back and giving up. He can still bluff on later streets.
He will be the most confused man in the world when he gets called twice here.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think anyone can have a queen. There's no way anyone can have a queen, right?
It doesn't look right.
Steffen wouldn't have checked a queen on the turn.
And you think Ankin would bet the flop.
Right.
Interesting that Steffen himself decided to check the turn. Maybe expecting Albert to make a delayed continuation bet, thinking ace-jack high might be good. Wow, what a river. Backdoor 2-pair. Ankin won't be happy when he sees this, if he sees it.
Yeah, that was a nice get out.
I think the most interesting decision here was Steffen to check the turn.
$8,700.
6-8 bet 8,700. 8.7.
I mean, he made a couple of loose calls that we've seen so far, so I am expecting him to call here.
I mean, it's just desperation call. You don't obviously beat any value hands. And what one of these? If Albert was going to bluff, I would not just bluff the flop. Why do you think he's going to bet into a three-way pot again on the river? And sure enough, Rob returns with Sam.
Right. Like the Dunkin' Donuts actually, they did run a
8-7, yeah.
St. Patrick's Day special a couple of years ago. They were selling Whiskins, which are those little Munchkin donuts soaked in whiskey. Delicious. I think Sam would
go for them
like
right
a dozen
now.
of those right now.
I think that's what he was saying to me on the break, that he'd been all good all weekend, and he, since losing, had a double whiskey and piled away a couple of donuts. Got him back in the game. I mean, there just aren't hands Ankin can beat here.
I mean, he's lost his 200,000 with the 5 drop. He's walked over to sort of like the VIP lounge, and on the table was whiskey, donuts, and cigarettes. Now, which he immediately took all of them.
The big three.
If there had been heroin, cocaine, rat poison,
yeah.
I mean, he just basically lucked out that. Sam comes back to the table and reloads for a cool 200,000 euros. Now there's over €750,000 euros on this table. Hotting up nicely in Razvedov. 8 ways here. King's Casino in Razvedov, although Leon Serkanik, who is the king of King's Casino, on a short wander.
No one straddling?
Oh yeah, I am.
Sit back, instead of me.
Just can't stand to open for 600.
Huh?
But I need it to be more.
How much you chase now, Sam? For you?
400.
400? I wonder which one is more brutal, my hand or yours?
More what?
Brutal, my hand or yours?
Well, yours was like 60k pot, no? You have 20k?
Yeah, I'm just saying as a like, not as an amount, as a beat.
Maybe I'm biased because I lost the pot, but
What
there
about for me, flopping a king flush, thinking I'm
I lost
beating you
5
both.
times more money than you in the pot, so I take my side.
But still, when you
You
see
know,
the,
you
when
know
you
you have
see
the nuts. My feeling is of pain, isn't it? When I'm
Banco.
Yeah, but
I'm
you're
drawing
not
dead.
as sad as me because you're drawing dead, and I'm like.
I don't think I'm drawing dead though. I think I'm way ahead of you boys.
It's
I'm thinking it's a miracle. He wants to go all in. I'll flop the king flush.
Sam is determined to at least win one competition tonight, and if that competition happens to be who's the unluckiest,
Yeah, he's
going to be the winner.
He wasn't letting that title go. I've had the worst beat of anyone. Now shush.
Like on this board.
No, but
Steffen downsizing here on
I put
such
him
a
on a
polarized
queen.
board, raising out
He
the
raised to be on the river with a flush on
raising
there.
out the blinds into the
Got
straddle.
some dodgy hand, doesn't he?
Made a very small bet. King 4 deuce board.
I'm not beating anything, am I?
Thinking Sam either folds.
Maybe he does that with ace queen.
He's
I mean, he shouldn't, but I mean maybe he.
betting a third of the pot there.
I guess you played much more with him than I
Yeah.
did, so I guess we know what he.
Welcome back to this den of iniquity.
Do you show the ace?
Gambling
And then he
for
doesn't beat me. I'm
loads.
How can that happen? He raised with queen 8 as well.
Yeah. 3K.
Yeah. He did the speech play before he raised, so I thought he got a good hand.
Yeah, I thought he had a good hand too. I wanted to shove, but I like.
For raise, 1100.
Trickett on the straddle, and Tomer. I mean, he's got a funny little game.
He's got there before.
I think he is a German pro, but I don't know him so well. I mean, what do you make of Tomer?
Well, I haven't seen that many of his hands so far.
You don't recognize him anymore.
No, but
Queen 8's a big hand.
I'm bad at that. All these Germans look the same to me. They've all just got loads of money and hair. Two things I don't have much of.
I lose more because he doesn't do that.
Everyone looks like money in that picture.
Oh.
That's great. Sam is back, topped up for 200K. Mookie. And ready to rock and roll. Check this out. This is a hell of a 3-bet from, well, I mean, it's a 4-bet really, but Albert has picked something up.
Yep.
And I don't know what quality of decision Sam has here.
I'm trying to milk him like a cow, aren't I?
Yeah, it's an awkward spot.
How was the risotto?
I mean, in order to really make a play here, he has to think that both Tomer and Albert are at it, which is a little weird, right?
Yeah, I mean, Tomer makes sense opening over the straddle, so you can kind of discount that hand, but Albert's squeezing out the blinds. Oh, wow. There we go. Sam's not messing around.
He is not messing
and
around.
A really small 4-bet. 39 up, just up to 8 because he has position.
Sam is well prepared.
the quality of
No,
that
whiskey
decision,
time, no.
or the factors that
The
went
good
into it.
preparation didn't work for me. The
I
salads
have-
and
I
the
have-
spa.
Which whiskey is it?
I don't know. I said, give me any whiskey you have. Yeah? You drink some whiskey with me?
I mean,
What's your-
I
what's your
could
best
just
whiskey?
dismiss that ace-10 play as a bit on tilt and kind of getting in a lucky situation. Or it could have been read-based, right?
Well, yeah, he's just obviously thinking that there's going to be a squeeze. That the
Yeah.
3-bet's going to be light, you know, a decent percentage of the time. He's got an ace, so he blocks a lot of the 3-bet range hands. Also, when these guys are playing that deep, the hands they're willing to 3-bet with and then hands they're willing to get in are quite far apart. You know, these guys don't want to.
The donuts.
He's
Right.
going to see the flop when he makes it 8K.
Right.
Worst
I
way,
just had 2
almost
donuts
all the
and 2
time,
whiskeys.
and best way he can just pick the
I'm
pot up
back in
there.
the
And
game.
Right, and
you
he
know,
wasn't making it 8K off 20 stack. He
No.
was making it 8K off 200.
Yeah, he knows he's not getting 5-bet bluffed. Is my point.
Yeah.
Sugar and alcohol. And reload. And reload. Life's good again.
Very simple.
Again, you're trying to catch me. You actually can double me up now.
Leon always positive thinking.
Why not?
I like winning way more than losing.
That's a fun flop for Leon.
Wow! No, he didn't.
Nope.
73,000 euro bet into a 5K pot.
Serious bet.
You know,
This is why we wanted Leon back.
In the middle,
I
man.
know 4,000 in the middle. You know,
And that's a really funny hand. Obviously,
one
there,
you guys
Steffen had king
played, I
high,
was
so
having
no
it.
brainer. But what does he do with ace 10?
Take a picture of that.
What do you do with ace 10 there? Like what?
Yeah, I can't call
This is
king
what
high.
happens when you're playing someone like Leon. Just-
It's
I
true,
was-
and
I
now
was
that
playing
he's even
push
shown
and
it, what do you do with ace
just
10 the
king high.
next time?
yeah.
Plenty of time, I
It's
guess.
not good to do your coconuts before the main event's not even started, though.
Well, it wasn't the plan. Some guys,
Real tournament doesn't start till
guys
Wednesday.
called me all in with 5 deuce high. It disrupted my plan.
What about 5-4? I had 5-4.
I just did it
You
because
had the best hand.
I had the best hand.
Value bet.
Yeah, value bet.
Is it possible to needle someone like that out of love? I don't know. They are good friends.
Rob and Sam were exceptionally close friends. They've known each other for a very long
you get it all
time.
back over the week.
I would like that. Would be good for me.
Oh dear, Sam.
I'll try.
3-betting with deuces on the
try,
button.
that's
When the opener's got the aces, never a good
Unless you
idea.
get drunk.
I'm not a quitter. Well, I've just had a couple of whiskeys.
Funny, isn't it?
Again, he just thinks
King's
see
Casino drives
Leon's
you to alcohol.
gonna call and thinks maybe he can squeeze Steffen out, make Tomer fold.
was
But I
just
don't
having
really
a
like
speech
it. I'd rather
when
just
I
see him
got
flat
here,
there and
like
go
drinking
multi-way.
Water, eating clean.
Right,
I'm getting better
because
at
Tomer
being
didn't
detached
straddle. He
from
did open with a raise,
results.
didn't he?
He opened with a raise.
And deuces is your.
Help me with bearing.
When Sam's looking at it, he's thinking I can squeeze the rest of the guys out here and play heads up with Leon. But he's certainly got deuces. We can choose better hands to do that with.
I'm going to spar each day. I'm going to sleep properly. I've had 2 nights with no sleep. And I've not been out at the casino yet. I said I'm going to go to the Prada shop
It's
in
like Vegas. You can't sleep here.
a couple of hours. Spa.
You raised me.
It's like Vegas here. You can't sleep here.
You raised
You
me.
raised me.
No, you started.
Oxford
raised
Uni or
600.
something? You do, yeah? You bad man.
It
Fair enough, huh?
Sam, I have
doesn't look like much. He couldn't call there, Sam, because you don't. Tomer's not deep enough. A little earn for Tomer there. He now sits 4th on the money list. This list is ordered by the player's overall profit and loss, remember. 6 players in profit then, and the other 2 apparently bankrolling them. Not on that graphic, though, because he's no longer at the table, is Dutch darts legend Michael van Gerwen. He was all in and out twice in the early exchanges here in Razvedov, and so 40K of the money on the table was his. And Van Gerwen returns in our next episode as he looks for a reversal in his fortunes, as does Sam Trickett. Will Lady Luck ever smile on Sam? Tune in next time to the Big Game Germany to find out.
Because I'm not convinced Rob would make that bet with a jack.
Tomo can't really call because it's a spot where Tomo himself could have an ace.